Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Metamorphosis with a very dear friend and one of my favorite para athletes, Ekta Bhyan. We are celebrating her bronze medal winning exploits at the Paris Para World Championship. 17.93 in the F51 club throw. This has been an excellent, almost near her best. She's been doing the country proud for a pretty long time. And most importantly, one of the most articulate athletes you will be able to talk to in India. Ekta, how much does this medal mean to you? First World Championship medal, that too at the biggest stage. Parasports has now finally gotten the recognition it deserves. We are all celebrating you. What does this mean for the future and to you as an athlete?
Thank you so much for giving me this platform and talking about the para sports because it is not about sport, but it is about inclusivity. And this medal is very, very precious for me because it has been 7 years I am into para sports and I had participated in four world championships and I had no medal in the world championship. So it was a very special moment for me to win medal there. I participated in Paralympics and I participated at Asian Para Games and there was no medal at the Paralympics as well. Oh, sorry, Tokyo Paralympics. And so this was a huge morale boost up after Tokyo Paralympics for me.
Yeah, I mean that as you remember, I mean after Tokyo also you and I had spoken, and this has been quite a journey. So two questions. One, your mindset when you went to the Paris World Championships, that was one jinx you needed to break, win that medal. You've got a Asian Para Games medal, a gold in fact in the past. And secondly, you have credited Amit Saroha again, your coach and mentor. So a word on Amit, the way he got you into parasport and how the partnership has evolved. Because ultimately, it's also about a team. In this case,
Right.
Abhiyan team. So tell me about that.
The first thing I would like to talk about is about para sports because still we don't have much awareness in our country about the para sports. And talking about my disability, this is the most severe one. I have my disability in both upper limbs and lower limbs. So you won't find any able-bodied coach training para athletes or especially the quadriplegics. Mr. Amit Suraha contacted me and told me about the para sports. And being a para athlete, being a quadriplegic disabled, he could guide me in a very perfect way. So after winning medals, winning 10 medals at World Championship, and similarly, we had an amazing performance at Tokyo Paralympics. The best part is that now we are having able-bodied coach as well. Now you can find few able-bodied coaches in the small cities as well who are giving training to the para athletes. So it is about creating awareness and making a difference in overall picture of our country.
Ekta, one important question. If I still go and speak to people about parasport, they will say, "अरे वो
Right.
तो para athlete है, ठीक है, Paralympics में जीत गए, यहाँ जीत गए." The classification, the breakdown, people still don't understand that what is a F51, what is a F46. People don't
Yes.
understand. Can you please?
Yes.
And it might sound naive to you, but from the perspective of a lay viewer who is actually trying to understand how tough it is, how difficult it is, how challenging it is, how adverse it is, can you please explain your classification, what it means, how difficult it is, and who qualifies? Can you just explain your classification a little bit?
Yes, sir. In para athletics, we are having two kind of events: track events and field events. In field events, we are having categories starting from F51. That is the category who is having the most severe disability. That is disability in both upper limbs and lower limbs. And after that, there is 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. Till 55, we are having those athletes who are using wheelchairs, which means they are either spinal cord injured or they are having some polio problem. So 55 will be the least disabled athlete and 51 will be the most severely disabled athlete. In between, we are having those athletes who are having some balance in their upper limbs. In 53, we will be having some balance in trunk muscles. In 54, we are having good balance that we can even sit without support. And in 55, there is enough balancing that person can lift himself and very much independent in his day-to-day tasks. So, in context of classification, we need to understand that every wheelchair user is not same, and we need to have more technical classifiers in our country. because yes, we are having few classifiers at national events, but still we don't have any technical classifier at IPC who can efficiently guide our country, guide in our country the athletes, the national classifiers. That this is your category and this will be your muscle charting. So we need to have more technical understanding of classification, because most of the time I came across many disabled persons who just curious to know which will be their category. I
Yes.
won't be able to tell them online that they said we are having spinal cord injury. There are 12 kind of different spinal cord injuries. You cannot assign one category to them just seeing them. So we need to understand that every disability is different. Every muscle plays an important role in getting the right classification. And we need more technical classifiers who can help the budding athletes in telling about their right classification.
So the question I was asking you, Ekta, is that, from the time you got into sport, clearly when Amit called you, you got into the sport and with serious disability. From there on to win a world championship medal, win a Para Asian Games medal, you've actually made the tricolor go up for you and have listened to the national anthem at the Asian Para Games. Because of you, we have been able to do that. Talk to me about this journey a little bit.
Yeah, the journey was quite full of ups and downs. And in 2016, when I started my journey, I was completely clueless about para sports, because I thought that it will be very difficult for me being a severely disabled person. And but with the passage of time, I trained myself and I started building that self confidence that games are still possible in severe disability. And when I started winning medals, then after that there was no looking back. And with sports, I got that opportunity. It has empowered me that I can talk about more about challenges we disabled persons face in our day-to-day lives, and how we can be more how we can have a more solution based approach in day-to-day lives. So it is a journey which is empowering, not only in terms of my sports but also in terms of my social empowerment. And yes, every time it was not only about winnings, it was also about losing. And my Tokyo Paralympics went so bad that I couldn't perform my personal best even there. Medal was very far away from my reach. And yes, now I am optimistic for upcoming events. I have learned my lessons and looking forward for upcoming events.
Tell me something. I mean, you mentioned the word empowerment a couple of times, and I'm asking you a very blunt question. I mean, since Tokyo, 19 medals. Yes, you may not have won, but overall, the performance in Tokyo. Have you, or in
Yes.
fact, from Rio, from the 4 medals in
Yeah.
Rio to Tokyo 19, are you
Yes.
actually seeing societal change? Are you, because when I see the celebration on social media, for example, after you won the medal, I think there is a larger story here than simply the medal. The medal is fine, but there is a
Yes.
larger story of sensitivity, a larger story of equality that this country is striving towards. Are you seeing that as well?
Yes, we are moving towards bringing a very positive change. Yes, it is not like it is perfect, but we are making very little changes every day. Still, when I go for a award function, I don't find ramps. Four people lift me, and I go to the stage. So it is not only about the medal. Yes, it is about making the changes in our infrastructure and the mental barriers we still face, because people see a wheelchair. People are they see the disability, but we are the persons with disability. We are persons first and disabled later. So we don't want to ignore our disability, just to understand our disability and our needs. So in this context, this mental barriers and these infrastructural barriers do cause a kind of do create problems in our day-to-day lives. But yes, we are making changes and we are heading towards a more inclusive society, but still there is a far way to go.
It's not about sympathy, isn't it? It is not about sympathy. And that's the point that I
Yes.
keep making to when I celebrate this show, Metamorphosis, better through health, education, and sport. My point is
Yes.
to hammer home that it is not about sympathy, it is about empowerment. When I celebrate the
Yes.
athlete, in this case, I'm celebrating a thing forward. It is not about you understand where I'm coming from. That's the point that
Yes.
I want you to talk about in a little more detail.
Yes, usually people are more interested about in understanding, in knowing our stories, and they don't treat us as far like any other able-bodied athletes. And very sorry to say, like many states in our country are still not having a par policy for the disabled athletes. Many states do have, but still many states don't have that at par policy. So we need to make these changes where we are needed to be where we need to be treated at par. And most of the times we are called just for inspiration. It is not only about inspiration; it is also about the hard work we put on for our medals. And yes, sympathetic view is there, and with sympathy it comes a huge of like pity, I would say, not only sympathy, pity. And in this way, sports has empowered every athlete. It is not only about getting the financial independence. Many states have that reservation for para athletes as well, where they can be financially independent after their job, or they have the cash incentives after winning medals. So this part of sympathy is getting turned into empathy, and to some extent we are getting the treatment which we desire of treating at par. No discrimination on the basis of disability, no discrimination on the basis of our wheelchairs.
Three final questions. One, I mean, when I was speaking to Deepa, for example, and she tells me
Yes.
2010 Commonwealth Games, there was nothing. I mean, in her wheelchair, there was not even somebody who would help her change her diapers. From there to
Yes.
now, when Devendra tells me that when he went to the airport in Athens with on his way to Athens with his father, there was nobody to see him off. Today, you mentioned
Yes.
some states, in your case, Haryana, equal prize money. From 2010, there
Yes.
was a policy change. Haryana has
Yes.
empowered its athletes. So I mean, my point is that are you getting adequate facilities in India today? Is there are there better toilets? Are there ramps? Are there the basics that a para athlete needs to excel? Are you seeing or are you getting these facilities in India today?
I would like to talk about this in 2 points: being a para athlete and a person with disability. Because being a para athlete, and like I have represented at international platforms, I am getting all those facilities at the stadiums, at my venues, at offices, where I can ask about my rights and my needs. But at the ground level, for a budding athlete, it is not the thing which can be accessible to them. Either it is information, either it is infrastructure. Most of the disabled persons are unaware of the information that they need to have in their career, and most of them are restricted to their homes because it is inaccessibility in the infrastructure. So, being an athlete, I'm getting all those facilities, but being a disabled person, I still face challenges because whenever I go to a public place, I need to explore is ramp is there or lift is there. People keep on staring me and my wheelchair. That mental stereotype I do face. So, being an athlete, we are getting better, and being a disabled person, I wish that to be more accessibility in our country to have that.
Penultimate question. In your case, a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, proper articulation in terms of language. There are many who come from relatively modest and underprivileged backgrounds and are not as articulate as you are. And that results in inferiority complex. That results in mental health challenges. Thoughts on that?
I completely agree with you, sir. I completely agree. You will be surprised to know that literacy rate is still 35% in our country for the disabled person. And for the women with disability, this is less than even 30%. So imagine if they are not having their basic education till 10th class, we can't expect them to be financially independent. Most of the time, they involve themselves in self employment, knitting, and something that they can do at homes only. And education is very important. I'm fortunate that my parents supported me at every step. I was just 18, completed my plus two when I met with the accident. They took me to college every day. I need two persons to accompany me. They shipped me into the car. We used to have Maruti that time. They put that wheelchair on the car. So it is not an easy job for every family who cannot afford a car. Secondly, the public transportation is not wheelchair accessible. So these are the restrictions we disabled persons face in our daily life. And in that context, sports is a great medium to get financially independent. And if we are having that accessibility in public transportation, so then we can have a lot of talent from the rural area. I interact with many persons with disabilities who are from the rural area. They just want to get into sports. But the thing is that they are unaware which sport they should
Yes.
pursue, which class will they will get, how they will commute to the city. So these are the challenges any person with disability face. And if public transportation is accessible and the stadiums are accessible, schools, colleges are accessible, we are no short of talent.
Last one. What's next? Asian Para Games coming up, Paris Olympics coming up. Tokyo is now history. What about Paris? How hopeful and is that a dream? Have you started in your subconscious to start dreaming that it will be the same stadium, possibly in the same city at least, and you will be seeing the tricolor go up one more time?
Sir, I'm a person who always goes step by step. Like when I met with that accident in 2003, I was not sure would I be able to complete my education. I was just thinking that I have to complete my first year in BA. Then I thought about the second year and the third year. So now I'm just focusing about my Asian Games, and I want to repeat that history, winning a gold medal with a new record in Asian Games. And yes, Paralympics is always a dream, and I'm doing my best for Paris Paralympics as well. And Tokyo, I can never forget because it was the worst performance. So of course, I would like to improve in next Paralympics my performance with a better performance and hopefully a medal.
You know what? Abhinav keeps telling me this: sport teaches you how to fail, and that perhaps is the biggest lesson from sport. In your case, that has happened with Tokyo, and you're a better person as a result. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, I do think how we can relate sports with our day-to-day life. We face failures, but still we get new opportunities. Still we set our new goals. Sports is so similar to our lives, so similar.
That's why it is a metaphor for life, isn't it? I mean, that's the whole idea.
Yes.
So, as I said, I mean, you're an inspiration, Ekta. You're an inspiration to me, to many like me, and I've followed your journey. You know that for the last several years, tried to help parasport and support parasport through our work at RevSportz. We are committed for equal coverage for able-bodied and parasport, and we will continue doing that. All the support, and as I said, all the celebration.
I am really very thankful to you. At the time of Tokyo Paralympics, your coverage has made a lot of impact. We athletes got interviewed, our interviews were published. That was really a great platform on your part that we could share our journeys and we could share our aspirations. Very thankful for that.
It'll continue because it's a joint journey. It's not for you or me, it's for India, for a better India, for a more inclusive and a more sensitive India. Thank you, Ekta Bhyan. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.